booktube. My name is Faye and you're watching Mystery Date with a Book. We are doing a fantastic video today. I don't know, I hope it's fantastic because first of all, I just got a new camera, so please bear with me. I'm still playing with the light and, you know, distance and focus. I don't know how to mess with this camera. If you know anything about cameras, please let me know. Yeah, I don't know anything. So bear with me, please bear with me. And also another reason number 2 why this video is fantastic, it's because we're talking about the best books I've read in 2019. Yes. Okay, now I've split the categories into genres, into different types of stories. So, here we go. Before we start, big disclaimer. These are not books that have come out in 2019. These are books that I've read in 2019, so they're new for me, okay? They're not new for anybody else. I know I'm very late in reading a lot of these books. Like, I don't usually read new releases straight away, as soon as they come out. It happens every now and again, but I'm usually, a bit late. So, yeah. Okay, so the first category we have here is thrillers. And the best thriller I've read this year is Along Came a Spider by James Patterson. Now, I got this book as a gift from my teacher who was mentoring me in my teacher training for my first placement. She's such a lovely, lovely lady. And yeah, she knew I liked reading and she gave me about 3 James Patterson books. I'd have to count. I can't remember. 3 or 4. And I read Along Came a Spider straight away, and I absolutely loved it. It's about the serial killer. Let me see if I remember. It was one of the first books I read this year, so it's been a while. It's about the serial killer who works. Well, I don't want to give any spoilers. So it's hard. 2 children have gone missing, okay? And there's a serial killer in the area, so everyone thinks the children have been kidnapped by the serial killer. There you go. I'm not gonna say much more than that. It's an old book. Most people would have read this already anyway, but just in case you haven't read it yet, I don't want to spoil it for you. So, Along Came a Spider is our winner for Thriller of 2019. Now, the next category we have here is fantasy. I've started reading a bit more fantasy this year because I found this new brilliant genius of an author, and that is Brandon Sanderson. So I've been reading a lot more. And this is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. This is The Final Empire. And oh my goodness, this is definitely the winner. I don't know if you're getting this. I don't know. See, I'm still playing with this camera. I don't know if it's focusing on me or on the book. Yeah, anyway. The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. What can I say about this? It's very popular. It is very hyped. But for this trilogy, the hype is real. Like, it's justified. This is so good. It's easy to read, even though it's a massive, massive book. It's easy to read and it grabs you. It won't let you go, right? As soon as you start reading this, you want to know what happens. So you keep reading till the end. And honestly, I wasn't disappointed. No. I got the second book already over there in my TBR shelf, and I'm so ready to start on the second book. Honestly, The Final Empire, if you haven't read this yet, please read this in 2020. Yeah, what am I talking about? Please read this in 2020. It is absolutely brilliant. So good. I could not recommend this enough. Okay, now another category is our young adult fantasy, because I couldn't compare the Final Empire, the Mistborn trilogy is it's like a transition series between young adult and adult, and this new category we have here is YA, young adult fantasy, and that is, guess who the winner is? This monster of a book, Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. This is the final book in the Dark Artifices. It's this trilogy by Cassandra Clare, and it's a chunker. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a while to read this because I was intimidated by the size of this book, but it's so good. Honestly, it takes you to places you never thought you'd be in. Like it's just wow. Okay, I know I'm not explaining these books very well, but this is the third one in the trilogy, so I'm not going to spoil anyone. This world that Cassandra Clare created is all about shadow hunters and demons and vampires and everything in between. It's amazing. I know it's not for everyone, I'm gonna say that, but I absolutely loved this trilogy. Honestly, the best trilogy Cassandra Clare has ever written. It's so good. It's a little bit more grown up in places. It's a bit more creative. Her writing style is a lot better. So I really did love this book, and this gets a prize for YA fantasy. Well done. I feel like I'm not giving you a synopsis of anything here. Just go read it. Right, now the next book I'm gonna have to sit to the side now because I don't have an actual copy anymore. I read a library copy of this book, and that is Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend. I have a full review up on my channel. I'm gonna put the link up there, and yes, please go check it out. It's such an amazing book. It's the second book in the Nevermore series. The third book, Hufflepuff, is coming out in August of 2020. I know it's a while, so we have to wait. The release date has been pushed back because the author Jessica Townsend, she wanted to work a bit more on the book, make sure it's really good. So I'm happy to wait if the book is going to turn out better. So yes, August 2020. I cannot wait to read the next one. Honestly, no. If you haven't read Nevermore yet, the first book in the series, please go read it. Do yourself a favor, read it. I know it's middle grade, but it's fantastic. Honestly, it's about this 11-year-old girl who is very unlucky. She brings unluckiness to the whole town where she lives. So on her 11th birthday, she's meant to die. All the unlucky children, it's just a known fact. Unlucky children die on their 11th birthday. But for Mog, who's very lucky, Morgan Crow. Oh, I cannot say her name. Morgan Crow, so I just call her Mog. She's very lucky because something happens on her birthday and she does not die. It's a fantastic book, and you have to read it because yeah, I love it. So yes, go read it. See, I don't like giving spoilers, so I don't really know what to say about these books because I want people to know about them. I want people to pick them up, but at the same time I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so I don't know how much to say about any of these books. So yeah, I'm going to give you the absolute essential for each book, okay? Don't expect a full review for any of them. Now, the next category is contemporary, but I don't usually read a lot of contemporary books, so I only had about 3 or 4 books to choose from the whole year, what I read the whole year, but the winner, I think, deserves it. It's such a good book, and it is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Honestly, I could read anything this woman writes. This is set in the same world, the same neighborhood actually, from The Hate You Give, which I read last year, and this one, On the Come Up, is just as good. Oh my goodness. It's not as hard-hitting as The Hate You Give, but it still deals with racism, it deals with social class, it deals with discrimination in every single way. And, fighting for survival. I think that's the main theme here. On the Come Up is about this 16-year-old girl who lives in this poor neighborhood, the same set as we got in the Hate You Give. And she wants to be a rapper like her dad used to be. Her dad was killed when she was very young by this gang, and she wants to follow his footsteps. She wants to be a rapper, and she is really, really good. So she wants to get her family out of poverty through rapping, through, you know, music. And oh, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Just go read it, please. It's really, really good. And yeah, I can't really say much about it. It's a brilliant read. It's easy to read. It's relevant. It's good. Please go read it. Okay, now the next category is historical fiction, but we have a tie for this one. Okay, I could not pick just one of them. I read about 4 historical fictions this year. I mean, if you would ask me if I like historical fiction, I would usually say no. Because when you say historical fiction, you think Philippa Gregory, things like that. That's not the type of historical fiction I read this year, and I'm glad I didn't because I'm not a big fan of Philippa Gregory. But anyway, I found this new author for me. It is Taylor Jenkins Reid, and 2 of her books have made it into this awards video. First one, Daisy Jones and the Six. I just finished this. I finished this book last night and I absolutely loved it. The format, as an interview, is just a brilliant idea. It's fast-paced. You get to follow the members of the band from the very beginning, and you get to see them through. It's just brilliant. It's clever. It's unique. I don't know how to describe this book. It's good. It's set in the 70s. I absolutely recommend this one. I mean, looking at it, you wouldn't say it's historical fiction, would you? Because, historical fiction is usually like Victorian England or something. But this is set in the 70s in America. I think it's historical fiction, so there you go. Historical. The other book, because this is a tie, right? This is Daisy Jones and the Six plus another book. They're tied for first place in this category. And the other book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I do not have a copy of this. I listened to that on audiobook from Scribd, and oh my goodness, I loved it. It's the same sort of idea. It's told through an interview in different parts of the book, not the whole book, but in different parts it's an interview, and it's so refreshing. It's such an easy read, and the characters feel so real that I actually had to Google Evelyn Hugo to make sure she wasn't a real person. Like, it is actually fiction, but you get so involved in her life. She feels very real. She's very well developed, and yeah, I wanted more. Honestly, I couldn't get enough of these 2 books. So this new author for me, Taylor Jenkins Reid. The author gets the prize for this category. There you go. Okay, in the sci-fi category, we have, of course, Obsidio by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Oh, this is the 3rd book in the Illuminate Files trilogy. Because it's the 3rd book in the trilogy, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil the whole trilogy for you, but there have been mixed reviews about this book on BookTube, but I loved it. Yeah, when I was done with this book, I wasn't ready to leave that world yet, so I picked up Aurora Rising, which I'm gonna put up here, just in case you haven't seen the gorgeous cover yet. And yeah, I read that and I loved it as well, because it's in the same world, it's the same system, sort of. So, I just couldn't get enough of Obsidio, of Aiden. Oh my goodness, I love Aiden so much. Am I not merciful? I love this trilogy. I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, no. I've read some really good books this year, honestly. Okay, and our final category is graphic novels. Now, I've been trying to read a bit more graphic novels and mangas. I'm gonna put them both in the same category because I didn't read much from either of those categories. And my favorite graphic novel of the year was Pumpkinheads by, is it Rainbow Rowell? I could be wrong, but I think it's Rainbow Rowell. Anyway, Pumpkinheads, it's perfect for fall, for autumn. It's set in a pumpkin patch, and it's brilliant. It's cute. It's lovely. It's a fluffy read, easy read. If you haven't read it yet, please go read it. It's really cheap on Amazon now, I think. So yeah, go read it. So yes, those were the 9 book awards for 2019. They were my favorite books of the year. We still have a few books to go. I'm listening to Eleanor Oliphant's Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. It's right there next to my bed. Gail Honeyman. Yes, Eleanor Oliphant, oh my goodness, such a brilliant audiobook. Anyway, I'm also about to start, let me show you, I'm about to start the Christmasaurus and the Winter Witch. This is a middle grade. It's apparently, I didn't know this, but this is the 3rd book in the series, and I haven't read the first one, but it's middle grade, so we should be fine. I'm sure they explain who's who and all that, I don't know. And I plan on reading A Little Princess over that Christmas period, you know, between Christmas and New Year's, where nothing really happens. So yeah, and yeah, that's it guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this 2019 book awards. And now my question for you is, what was your favorite book of 2019? What was your favorite read of the whole year? It could be that you stepped out of your comfort zone and you found something new. It could be that you found a new author, maybe, that you didn't know before, like I have. Yeah, just pick one of the greatest books you've read this year. That's it. That's all I want to ask. So if you like this video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, do the whole shebang. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.